Harris Bullard, I am Woodcutter. I know your secret. James Lowry sends his regards.
March 26, 1958. Harris, how was your conference in Chicago? I can just imagine you prancing through the streets like Gene Kelly, swinging on lampposts and declaring yourself to be of such grand importance. Did you remember your lines? Was the audience rapt? Oh, my dear Harris, did you find a little chickadee to take back to your hotel this time? While you were gone, I had old Sam come over and change the locks. You left a few things here, which I've relocated to the curb for a convenient pickup. I do admit that a few of your possessions may have ended up in the street, but in all honesty, they do not look out of place there. Do you remember the last thing you said to me, Harris? It was almost in passing as you slammed the door, but I heard it very clearly. You said, "You haven't got the guts." Well, I do have the guts, you rat, and I'm throwing you, your shabby things, and these last 6 wasted years of my life into the rubbish bin. If I catch you around here again, I will alert the police with the sound of my shotgun. Forever yours, Cynthia.
Bill told me to cover Bullard's death, but he's just looking for gossip about the young assistant. But I took it seriously, did the research, followed every lead, like a real journalist would. It paid off. I found something everybody else missed. A note, a half-thought, scribbled in the margins of the coroner's draft report. It read, "Hypothermia in summer?"
H. Bullard, Daily Log, April 9th, 1964. Woodcutter sent me another note today. He knows things nobody should know, secrets I buried 20 years ago. He knows about James Lowry. It's impossible, but somehow he knows. I can tell he's getting closer to me. His notes are mailed from the Gove post office, and last night I could swear I heard somebody moving around outside. I haven't been this scared since Chicago. I need to be patient. He's going to have to reveal himself to me at some point. If he wants my research, he'll have to wait until it's completed. I don't believe in ghosts. When I find him, I will kill him. H. Bullard, Daily Log, November 2nd, 1964. We did a test run of the audiofocal lenses today. At first we did not know how to interpret the results, but now I believe they are working better than we had anticipated. Instead of an unfiltered stream of sensory information, what we are seeing is subconscious memory. The lenses distort in response to visual stimuli that the wearer has some knowledge of. They see what my conscious mind cannot. Josie proposed that what we are really doing is mining dreams. Dreams are, after all, a form of video focus, a time when the subconscious comes forward and shows us truths that we might not otherwise recognize. What we are striving for is unrestricted access to dream thought. As a control mnemonic, the mask works pretty well. I could tell that Josie was dubious at first, but now she understands. Subconscious thought is potentially dangerous to the subject. We will need a physical object to enable the mind to compartmentalize, providing the wearer with some degree of cognitive protection. A permanent augmentation will require a much larger apparatus. We will need some other kind of focus mnemonic to help the brain control the deluge of dream information it will receive. Something large and ubiquitous. The moon, perhaps. Dear Diary, today Dr. Bullard and I built a chassis for his new weather device. It's weird as usual. I don't really get why we're building it, but Dr. Bullard doesn't explain things. Tomorrow I need to go buy some bottles for the base. Today was Mama's birthday. She would have been 54. I bet she would have liked the work I'm doing now. I hope she's proud somewhere. I had the nightmare again last night. It's been over a year since I last had it, but it never changes. I've written about it over and over, but the writing seems to help, so I'll tell you about it again. I'm 5 years old, in our apartment in Chicago. It's dark. I've gotten out of bed to get some water, but I hear something coming from Mama's room. I peek in and see a tall man standing over her. He has his hands around her neck. He's breathing hard, and in the cold night air I can see his breath. It streams out of his mouth like smoke and seems to cover her. There isn't any breath coming from Mama. She's already dead, but he continues to squeeze. When I was a kid, I thought the dream would go away when I grew up. It hasn't. Dr. Bullard, I followed your instructions to calibrate the Tempest prognosticator. Your concern was correct. The bottles must be placed from heaviest to lightest to produce accurate results. The actual weight depends on the leech used, so I have to recalibrate every time we want to take a reading. Also note that recalibration is required if the battery in the base dies. However, the device works as intended. Once the model is aligned precisely with the moon, it may then be used to start the lunar dream apparatus safely. Josie. H. Bullard Daily Log, June 11th, 1965. Using the moon as a trigger for the lunar dream apparatus has its problems. The moon must be full, or nearly so, the night must be clear, and the process must be started at a very specific time to ensure that the moon is visible from inside the chamber. Josie's been following weather reports and using lunar charts to try to predict days for ideal test conditions, but it's an error-prone process. The data we get back from the weather service just isn't precise enough. Today I hit upon the solution. We'll build our own weather device. In fact, we can base it upon an exceedingly accurate design from a century ago, the Tempest prognosticator. I'll have to make some modifications for our purposes, of course. I'm sure that with some tuning, we can build a device that responds exactly to our weather needs. Then we'll need to get some leeches. Chapter 4. The Subconscious Mind. The human brain is at some level not unlike the pot that produces my coffee every morning. The water I pour into it is infused with the qualities of the roasted bean. The grounds themselves do not pass through the filter, but the liquid that collects in the carafe is no longer simply water. It has been permanently altered. Every part of my body is a sensitive instrument. My skin, my eyes, my muscles, my tongue. If I am a coffee pot, the stream of physiological information is the water, and my conscious mind is the coffee in the carafe. And a sieve, the filter that makes the drink palatable, is the subconscious mind.
Marguerite Higgins is my hero. She won a Pulitzer for her reporting in Korea. I went to college because of her. She goes to war zones, marches with the troops. Nothing scares her, and she gets the story. Marguerite Higgins doesn't run from a juicy story just because her life is in danger. Neither will I.
November 15th, 1960. Dear Harris, I read in the paper today that you received a special award from the college for groundbreaking research. I'm writing you to wish you my sincere congratulations. I've said some things that I regret, but today I wish only to extend good wishes to you and to your future endeavors. Do you know the scene in North by Northwest when Cary Grant disrupts an art auction? He makes nonsensical bids until the police are called in to haul him away. I saw it last summer at the cinema we used to drive to in Logan. It was lonely to go alone, but that scene made me smile. My life feels like that sometimes. I poke my head up and say something crazy every now and then, just on the off chance that somebody will take me away from all this. I'm no Cary Grant, I'm afraid. I would like to hear from you. Please write me back. Sincerely, Cynthia. The Crystal Cave by Bobby Sawyer, Chapter 8. The passage continued downward, a steep slope like we were going down a hill. The smooth crystal didn't give our feet purchase, and we were trying our best not to slip. It was dark as night, but the light from our helmets reflected strangely from the walls, making them dance blue. Once or twice I thought I saw a flicker in the glass, but it was just a trick of the light. It was cold down there. None of us was wearing a jacket. It dawned on us that we had come totally unprepared. A few hours before, we had been whooping and shouting, excited by the crazy angles that cut the crystal entrance out of the cave wall, sure that we'd found something that was going to make us rich. Now we walked in silence. Henderson's face wore a hard, determined look. Johnson's was all suspicion. Jimmy just looked scared, his skin pale and his eyes wide. I opened my mouth to say something to him, then shut it. Either we'd find a way out, or we'd die down here. All there was to it. It was then that Johnson screamed. Bill, I owe you many thanks for forwarding my request to the New York Times. I think we have the opportunity to tell one of the great science stories of the 20th century and make a considerable sum in the process. The Times is a great first step, but when we are finished, I want to have headlines written about me on the front page of every paper in the country. The key to our success is Harris Bullard's brain research. He has discovered something fundamental about the operation of subconscious brainwaves, and I believe that he will soon harness this knowledge to build a device whose object is to make men superhuman. Our first task is to procure this device before Bullard can publicize it, and my plans for accomplishing that are already in motion. Once the device is in my hands, I am confident that I can reproduce and improve upon his work. That, Mr. Mitchell, is where you come in. An invention of this magnitude must not be consigned to the boneyard of the academic journal. It deserves praise and recognition from the common man. We will make it the story of the year, and then we will sell the technology to those rich enough to meet our price. For now, we wait for Bullard to finish the device, then we will make our move. I look forward to your continued cooperation in this mutually beneficial partnership. Best regards, Rayne Wellington.
Dad took me to Wichita once before he died. We drove for 4 hours to get there, ate hamburgers, and watched a movie. Then we went home. He never explained, just told me to get in the car. I guess he knew he was going to die.
H. Bullard, Daily Log, May 24th, 1962. Cynthia called me today. She sounded drunk. Sometimes I think she calls me just to get a rise out of me. I maintained my calm this time, declining her invitation to meet, and told her in no uncertain terms that if she was looking for money, she had best look elsewhere. And now I am going to get drunk myself. Graham came by my office this morning. He had a strange-looking envelope. It was addressed to me, but it had been pushed under his door. It bore no return address, just the single word, woodcutter. I had to run to class and haven't had a chance to open it yet, but something about it makes me uncomfortable. I hope it's not another love letter from a student. Graham is a weasel. He's never stepped foot in the lab or run an experiment, but he makes it sound like he's the brains behind the whole program. Without me, he'd be a washed-up theorist with nothing to his name. H. Bullard's Daily Log, August 18th, 1965. The little mail fraud enterprise Bobby and I are operating has paid off. Since the beginning, I have had suspicions about Woodcutter's true identity, but I cannot confront him without evidence. Several months ago, I started paying Bobby extra to steal outgoing correspondence from a particular individual's mailbox. We steam open the letter, give it a read, and then send it on its way. It's not the most exciting trick in the book, and Bobby certainly doesn't like it, but I found it an effective method of surveillance. Today we intercepted a very interesting letter. This one confirms most of my theories, and has been locked away for safekeeping. When I have one or two more pieces of the puzzle, I'll nail Woodcutter to a wall. I'll have to do it quickly, though. The device, my ace in the hole, is almost finished. When it's completed, there will be no reason for Woodcutter to let me live. I'll just have to get to him first. National Recognition for a Local College, July 2nd, 1965. Washington, D.C. The National Academy of Sciences announced its annual picks for leaders in science academia on Wednesday. Among the recipients of this prestigious award was our own Oakley College in Logan. The college won recognition for a controversial research paper published by the school's small neuroscience department last year. "We are very proud to have our work recognized in this way," said Dr. Rayne Wellington, chair of Oakley's Brain Studies program. "We are a very small program focused on areas of research that the big schools ignore. We applaud the Academy of Sciences for giving us the chance to prove ourselves." The award-winning paper, authored by Wellington and Dr. Harris Bullard, was written in 1962 but only published last year. Titled Accessing Subconscious Waves Through Twisted Pair Electroencephalography, the highly technical paper caused some controversy in the neuroscience community and was ridiculed by many experts in the field. The paper was the source of some local tumult as well. "This paper was written entirely by Dr. Bullard," said one Oakley student who did not wish to give his name. "Wellington just put his name on it and took all the credit." Bullard, who retired from the school last year, could not be reached for comment. Work order, September 24, 1965. Ordered by Cynthia Peckman. Notes: Client wishes to keep large items, piano, unpacked for sale at auction. Do not pack contents of guest bedroom, second floor, left side. Not owned by client. Client is still looking for a key to first floor study. Will provide by September 26th. All expensive looking items are to be packed separately for immediate sale.